Good morning, everybody. This is Gillian. I think you all know who I am. I am the arithmetic teacher in the kindergarten and in second grade and in fourth grade. And some of you know that we do special eurythmy, therapeutic eurythmy in my eurythmy therapy room. But something else that I do in Beaver Run is telling stories for Special Story on Wednesdays. And today I'm going to tell you one of the special stories that Bernie and I have been telling the children who are in the 8th grade. So, I'm going to tell you a story about winter and spring. Now, you all know that spring has finally come. There are flowers everywhere, the birds are singing, and the air is much warmer and the sun is much warmer. And you know that not so very long ago it was much colder, the days were shorter, and there was even a little bit of snow. Not very much this year, but there was a little bit, and a little bit of frost. And then gradually it became warmer and springtime came. And you know how happy we are when the spring comes. We like to be outside and we like to smell the fresh flowers and enjoy that it's no longer cold and dark. Even though many of us now have to be inside or only outside very shortly, but we can look out of the window and we can see that the birds are singing, the trees are getting green, and there are flowers everywhere, especially here in Beaver Run. So I'm going to tell you a story about how it came to be that there was winter at all. Because long ago, there was no winter. Can you imagine? No winter. Only spring and summer and fall, but no winter. So I'm going to tell you how that came about. Long ago, in the faraway country of Greece, there is a high mountain called Olympus, and on the very top of this high mountain live all the gods. Many gods. But the greatest of all the gods was called Mother Demeter. It was she who helped the plants to grow, and the trees to grow, and the children to grow, and life on earth would not be possible if it was not for Mother Demeter. And I'm going to show you a picture of her. Here she is. And this is how the people of Greece pictured her. This is what they thought, this is how she looks. And you're probably wondering, well, what is that she's got on her head? It looks like a big box. Well, in that big box are all the magic mysteries that she uses to make life on earth happen. And because it's a magic mystery, I don't know exactly what's in there. But if I look at the picture, I can see that there's flowers and bees and stars. So it's something to do with nature. Demeter is the goddess of nature, which is life on earth. So, Demeter lives on Mount Olympus with all the other gods. And you know the gods do not die. They eat only very special food called ambrosia, and they drink a special drink called nectar. Now, Demeter Demeter has a daughter. Demeter has a beautiful daughter whose name is Persephone. Persephone was young and beautiful and as pure could be, and full of joy, and she loved her mother dearly, and her mother loved her too. But once in a while, Mother Demeter has to go away. And that was quite hard for Persephone. And you know, sometimes when your mother or your father have to go away, you're sad. And sometimes when that happens, your mother or your father will do something nice for you or give you something nice to keep you happy until they come back again. And that's what Demeter did. She said to Persephone, I have to go away down to the earth from the top of Mount Olympus, and I am going to go all the way down to the earth. And I'm going to help the flowers to grow, and the trees to grow, and the stars to shine, and animals to grow and be born, and to live and hop and grunt and moo, and all the things that animals do, and to help the birds to fly, and so on and so on. Because remember, she is the great Earth Mother. If it wasn't for her, there would be no life on Earth. And so then she came to Persephone and she said, now Persephone, I'm going to go down to the earth to help life on Earth to unfold. Now, while I'm away, I want you to do something for me. I want you to take your shuttle and take your loom, and some of you who do weaving with Tina will know something about weaving. And I want you to weave a veil, a beautiful veil, which is showing all the things that human beings do on the earth. The farmers who are farming, and the woodcutters who are cutting wood, and the people who are making bread, all the things that people do on the earth. I want you to take your shuttle and your loom and weave a great tapestry veil for me. And Persephone said, yes, I will do that for you. But, said Mother Demeter, what you must not do is to turn and look at the earth. Because if you do, you might be seduced, you might be tempted to go there yourself, and you may not do that. Only I am permitted to go to the earth. So instead, I'm going to give you my mirror. I'm going to show you her mirror. Here is her mirror. And you are going to sit and look into the mirror, like that. And everything that you see of life on earth, you will weave that into my veil. Yes, said Persephone, I will do that. One more thing, said Mother Demeter. Do not listen to Eros. Eros is a tricksy boy, and he might try to tempt you to turn around and look at the earth. Don't listen to him. Oh no, said Persephone, I won't. And so saying, Mother Demeter kissed Persephone and off she went down to the earth. Well, Persephone took her shuttle. You recognize, you know what a shuttle looks like. And she began to fill it with yarn. And when it was full, she began to weave. First the shuttle went this way, and then the shuttle went that way. Now you can take your arm. Are you holding the shuttle? Hold it tight. Send the shuttle this way. And now we're going to send the shuttle that way. We do it again. send the shuttle this way, stretch out, because it was a very big veil, and then stretch it out again this way, oh, and this way, and that way, and this way, stretch, and that way, stretch, and so on, and so on. And so Persephone was very happy weaving the veil, and I'm going to show you a little bit of the veil. Can you see how beautiful it is? All the colours of the rainbow are woven into it. And why is that? Because when human beings work, and when they work with joy, they make colour, they create colour. So when you work with joy and happiness, you love what you do, then you are making colours. You're making yellow and orange and red and violet and blue. And so Persephone was able to weave all those colours into this beautiful veil from Mother Demeter. So that went on for quite a long time. She was very happy watching everything, and she could see the earth in the mirror. She could see the trees and the flowers and all the people working hard on the earth. And then all of a sudden, there was a tap on her shoulder. Do you know who that was? I think you do. It was that tricksy boy Eros. And he tapped her on the shoulder and said, "Oh, Persephone, your veil is so beautiful." "Thank you," said Persephone. I'm glad you like it. "Oh," he said, "if only you could see the earth for yourself, you would see it is so much more beautiful than what you see in the mirror. What you see in the mirror is only a pale, pale reflection of how beautiful it really is." "Oh, no," said Persephone. "My mother said no, I must not turn round." "Oh, Persephone, just a quick little look," said that tricksy boy Eros. "It won't harm." "No," said Persephone. My mother said no, but you know, he wouldn't stop. He tapped her on the shoulder, and he tapped her on the other shoulder, and he tapped her on this shoulder again. Persephone couldn't ignore it. Do you know what she did? You do, don't you? She turned round and she looked at the earth. Well, I have to tell you this. It was just this time of year. It was springtime. The birds were singing. The trees were growing green. The flowers were springing up out of the earth. And everywhere there were happy children laughing and playing in the meadows. And in the meadows there were flowers everywhere. "Oh," said Persephone, "it is so beautiful. I didn't know it was so beautiful." And you know what she did? She put down her loom, she put down her shuttle, and she picked up her skirts and she ran down as quickly as she could all the way to the earth. Well, it was beautiful. It was so beautiful. And there were flowers. She didn't know that the flowers could smell. She didn't know they had a perfume. She said, "It smells so wonderful." Now, there was one flower more than any others. The perfume came to her. I'm going to show you. It's a daffodil. golden daffodil. Oh, she bent down and she could smell this golden, fresh, spring-like perfume of the daffodil. Oh, she said, if only there were daffodils on the top of Mount Olympus. I think I'm going to pick one and take it back with me. Well, that's what she did. She bent down and she picked the daffodil. Actually, it's called a narcissus. And immediately there was a mighty clap of thunder. Can we make thunder? Can you make a really mighty clap of thunder? 1, 2, 3. Even louder. And then suddenly the earth opened up. And there was a black hole gaping out of the earth. And out of the earth there came a mighty thunderous roar like this. Can you do that? It's like thunder. And out of the earth there came the Lord of the Dark. His name is Pluto. His name is Pluto. He is the King and Lord of the world under the earth, that dark place under the earth. Well, do you know what he did? He saw Persephone and he snatched her up in his arms and he placed her in his chariot, which was drawn by 3 horses. He placed her into his chariot and he held her tight like this and carried her off down, down into the dark world underneath the earth. I'm going to show you a picture. There he is. There he is. Can you see him? He's got red hair, flaming like flames. And here's his chariot, the wheel of his chariot. And here's Persephone. Look, she's shrieking. She's screaming at the top of her voice. You know when you're very frightened? You scream, don't you? You want someone to hear you and to come and help you. And she screamed and screamed and screamed as loudly as she could. And she waved her arms as much as she could. Can you do that? Wave your arms high. And she tried to hit Pluto. She tried to hit him like this. And you know, when you're frightened, sometimes you also try to hit people. Not because you don't like them, but you want someone to help you. And so she threw her arms about like this, but he held her so tightly that she couldn't reach him. And so she was helpless, and she was carried down into the dark. And then the earth closed, the big hole closed with a snap. And it was as if there had never been a hole. But Persephone was gone. Now, you remember that Mother Demeter, remind you what she looks like, with her mystery box on top of her head. She wasn't there. Otherwise she would have come immediately to help her. She was far, far, far away on the other side of the earth. But because she was a god, she had ears of a god, and she heard very, very faintly Persephone screaming, "Mother, Mother, help me!" And as quickly as she could, she hurried and hurried to where she heard the voice coming from. But there was no Persephone. We know she's under the earth. But she found the flower which Persephone had picked. Oh, she has disobeyed me, she said. Where is she? She could be anywhere. And so with the flower in her hand, Mother Demeter wandered everywhere on the earth. She went up into high mountain tops. There was no Persephone. She went down into deep valleys. No Persephone. She crossed rivers. She went into villages and towns, and she asked everywhere, "Have you seen my daughter?" And everybody said, "No, we have not seen Persephone." Mother Demeter looked at the flower and she wept bitter, bitter, bitter tears. She had lost her daughter. Imagine what your mother would feel if she couldn't find you. It was like that for Mother Demeter. She was so sad. She went everywhere and nobody knew where she was. And at last, she went to the sun. Now, you know that the sun sees everything. It shines on everything. And of course, the sun had seen what had happened. And the sun said, "Oh, Mother Demeter, I have to tell you that your daughter has been snatched away by Pluto, the Lord of the Dark." Said Demeter, "That is one place I cannot go to. I cannot help her." "Oh, and another thing," said the sun. "It was your brother, Father Zeus, who permitted it." Because you must know that Demeter had a brother, Father Zeus, on Mount Olympus. He has permitted that Pluto can have your daughter to be his bride and to be the queen of the underworld. Oh, not only was Mother Demeter angry, not only was she full of grief, but she was angry. She was full of rage. How could her brother do that? How could Father Zeus give her beautiful daughter to become the queen of the dark? Well, she was so angry that because she was the queen of the world and made everything grow, she said, "Stop growing." And immediately everything on earth ceased to grow. And she was full of anger and grief. And so she went to the earth, looking for somebody who could help her to find her daughter. And next week, we're going to find out what happened next. So as we're walking through this beautiful spring world, we could be thinking about Persephone, who's trapped under the ground, away from the sunlight and away from the growing flowers and trees and away from the birds and away from the sun. There she is, living in the dark. She was very, very frightened. frightened and very sad. However, we'll find out next week what happens next. Can you wait for that? So next week we'll see what you can remember of the story before we go on to the next bit. So I will see you all next Wednesday at this time. Have a lovely day. Do something nice. Be helpful and be kind to everybody that you're living with. Do the best you can, and I'll see you all